Hi, I'm Claudia Brown Coulter. I'm your go-to mediator for navigating divorce while parenting children with special needs. Thank you for coming back for part 4 of our series of navigating divorce with special needs children. Today we're talking about creating a supportive environment at home. So, there are 4 things I want you to think about. I want you to first think about the routines. Keep things the same as much as possible. Yes, I know your life is changing, their world is changing, but as much as possible, keep things the same. That implies that there are things that you can't help but change. But the things that don't have to change, do your best to keep them the same. Keep parenting. It is so easy to get caught up in your own grief that parenting just falls by the wayside. Keep parenting. Support, even if it's bare minimum parenting. Like even if the parenting you're able to give is not 100%, but it's 51%, you're good. 51% parenting. Yes, I know that in our society, that's failing. If you get a 51% on the test, you have failed. Not in parenting. 51%, you're over the edge. You're better than that's good enough. You are good enough. You don't have to be perfect. So right now, I don't need you to be the perfect parent. I need you to be the good enough parent. Just be good enough. Support what's happening at school. Make sure they do their homework. Make sure they get bathed. They brush their teeth. They put some deodorant on. They have clean clothes on. And they get their little bus to school. And they stay there. And they do the work and they behave, and then you support them at home. Pack them a lunch or make them breakfast, make them dinner. They have school lunch. 51% parenting. You ain't got to do it everything. Okay? Just keep parenting. 2, let's talk about changes that happen in divorce in general, but especially if you have children with special needs. You want to make those changes slowly and thoughtfully. You don't want to announce something one day and the next day it's changed. They're going to get whiplash. Any child is going to have problems with that. But if your child has processing issues, don't do that to them. Don't do that to them. Make your changes slowly and thoughtfully. I always say you can't control what the other person does. You can't control what your spouse does, but you can control you. So as much as it is up to you, change things slowly and thoughtfully. And listen, you're going to look back on your divorce and realize, we're okay. My kids are okay. My former spouse, we're good. We worked it out. Right now, you're in a phase where it's really challenging to even communicate with that other person. It's okay. It's okay. You're going to be okay. Just make the changes as slowly and as thoughtfully as you can. That other person will come around. Be open to continuing the conversation with your child. So our last video, we talked about how we're going to tell the kids. They're going to come back. So don't shut down communication. Don't be like, I told you once, don't ask me again. They are going to ask again. Be open. Answer their questions. Think about having some sort of visual schedule or calendar so your kids can predict. See, kids love consistency and routines because it's predictable. Sometimes as adults we find that boring, but in reality it creates safety for us. So having some sort of visual calendar where it's not here. Remember, our kids are not concrete thinkers depending on their age and their ability levels. They're not abstract thinkers. They are concrete thinkers. So by putting it in a visual display, they can see where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do. 3rd, I want you to think about your environment. So it needs to be an emotionally safe environment. So support their emotions, accept their emotions, just like you would your teenage daughter who is a teenage girl. Support their emotions and then go care for yourself later. Make your home physically safe and physically accessible for your child depending on their abilities. It needs to be safe. Especially if you're moving into a new place, it's got to be safe for them. Okay? Because we don't want to have any impact on their mobility, their independence, their health and safety. We have to make sure that that home is on lockdown in terms of, I've got everything I need for my child to feel at home here. You can do this. You see that pause I took? 'Cause I'm like, I know you're going to resist me on this, but I'm going to tell you right now, before I tell it to you, just know you can do it. It's going to take a little bit of work. This is why I'm like, dude, we need mediators. You need a mediator, but you can do this. I promise you, you can do this. So align as best as you can with your co-parent on your expectations and discipline. What are your expectations for the child? How are they going to finish their homework? When are they going to bed? What sort of behavioral expectations do you have? Even nutrition expectations? Because listen, depending on where your child is in their disability spectrum, nutrition can have a huge impact on how they act. So it might not be relevant to your situation, or it might be very relevant to your situation. So you want to have those conversations with them. And then you want to plug back into your support networks. Maybe you were isolated. Plug back in. Encourage your children to plug in to those support networks. Not just the kids, but for yourself, right? And encourage them. Let's try something new. You played basketball last year. Are you open to playing soccer? Maybe you'll find a whole new support network there. Maybe you'll find something better there and it'll be more fun. And you need support networks too. You need to go out with friends. You need to try a new sport. You need to do something different. You need to shake up your own personal routine a little bit and try something new. It's going to be fun. It's going to give you life. And then you're going to go from being a 51% parent to maybe a 55% parent. Some days all we got is 51%. That's good. All right. And lastly, I want you to think about creating normalcy. So you want to have, you might not want to. I'm going to encourage you to have regular communications with your co-parent. This is what happened. This is what happened at school today. And it doesn't need to be every day, but if there's something significant, you should let your co-parent know. Teacher said he had a meltdown at school, or she had a meltdown at school, and I'm not sure what was fed to him this morning, but I'm wondering if that was the cause of it. Can we chat about maybe having more protein in the morning? I don't know. That was just off the top of my head, and that wasn't very good. So as your mediator, I would say, let's rewrite that. Let's rewrite that and make that non-accusatory. But there are ways to do that. But you want to have communication. He had a great day at school. Or sometimes, this is really, really hard when you're just like, I can't stand this other person. He was really sad to leave you this morning. He really misses you. He said he had so much fun with you over the weekend. Tell the truth. That's going to make the other parent feel great. And if they feel great, maybe they'll be more cooperative with you. Okay. You want to keep your old traditions, but don't be closed to starting new ones. Start something new. Maybe you have a family tradition that your kids want to keep it. And then add something new to it. Do something a little bit different. Keep things a little spicy. It'll be fun. It's something for them to look forward to. Encourage them to stay connected with their friends. In another video, we talked about stress, and one of the impacts of stress on your children is that they can, their friendships can fall apart. They can withdraw. Maybe they're constantly fighting with their friends, and it's because of stress, and they're not really sure how to cope with their feelings and their emotions. Encourage them to reach out to their friends. And then lastly, keep current on your appointments for your kids. If your kids have, I'm talking about appointments outside of the school day that are outside of the school support system. So if you've got extra therapy that happens outside of school, keep current with that. That's going to create regularity for your child. They're going to know what to expect. So that's going to create safety for them, and it's going to help them not to regress in their development. But you want to make sure that you're keeping all the doctor's appointments. Please, please, please. I know the grief of divorce, but don't let your grief keep you from keeping these appointments. Okay, so make sure your kids get to all their appointments. In some ways, it's a lot to think about creating a supportive environment at home. But if you just focus on one thing, okay, this week, I'm just going to focus on keeping the routines the same so that the children feel the least impact as possible. Just focus on that. And once you've got that down, then move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing after that. You don't have to do it all at once. One thing a day or one thing a week. Focus on that one thing for the week. You can do this. You can do this. Your children need you. You're a good parent. You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. And anyone who's a perfect parent is overparenting and their kids are exhausted. And they're probably lying to you anyway. You don't have to be 100% parent. Do the best you can right now at this phase in your life, and it'll get better. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.